Good morning to all of you. I welcomes to all in our lecture series on solid state physics. In our last class we have been discussed half portion on classical Langevin theory of dimagnetism. In detail we have been discussed up to equation number 10. In detail we have been discussed. So I suggest that before you have to watch this video, part 2 video, you go for the part 1 video. We discussed each and every steps up to equation number 10, so from here we are going to be discuss in this video. So if you are not going to be watch previous video, so it will be difficult to understand from the half of our discussion that we are going to do from this equation. So we found that del mu m is equal to minus b e square r square by 2m, which is equation number 10, represents the change, this change of magnetic moment is the relative change. This is change, it is written as change, relative change in dipole moment of two electrons due to change in their angular velocities. Okay. So this is the change, is the relative change between the one electron to another. Okay, but we are trying to find out the individual change in dipole moment of each electron. This is the change of the dipole moment for one electron to another electron. But if we want to find out the change of angular momentum, dipole moment of each electron, then what we are going to do? Before that I am going to show you something. See, this is our initial angular momentum when one electron is revolving either anticlockwise or clockwise. So that was the initial angular momentum, angular velocity. Suppose due to this angular velocity we can get the magnetic moment, right? Now whenever we are going to apply a magnetic field, this angular velocity is going to be changed, due to which we can found change in magnetic moment. Okay, so initially we have the angular velocity omega 0 and omega 0 for electron 1 and electron 2. Carefully this one you have to be listen and watch itself. So suppose for electron 1 angular velocity is decreased and for electron 2 angular velocity is increased. So what is the change of angular velocity for each electron? This one, that is omega 0 minus omega 1. I am going to say that if we are going to consider omega 0 minus omega 1, this will be the so called change of angular velocity of the first electron. Likewise omega 0 minus omega 2 will be the change of angular velocity of the second electron, right? Because it is initial was the omega 0 and suppose this is increased. Likewise we know that if angular velocity is going to be changed, means your corresponding magnetic dipole moment is going to be changed. Suppose initially it will be mu 0 suppose, and it is changed mu 1 for the first electron, and suppose it is decreased, and for the second electron it was initially it was 0 and it is increased. So what will be the individual changes? That will be mu 0 minus mu 1. Here it is mu 0 minus mu 2. But if we are going to consider what will the change of dipole moment with first electron to second electron, then we are going to be consider mu 1 minus mu 2. So here directly if we are going to be subtract mu 1 minus mu 2, same thing also we are going to be consider that mu, see here mu 0 minus mu 1 minus of mu 0 minus mu 2 will be get the same answer. How we are going, how it is, I am going to give you one example. See here we found that the so called dipole moment is correlated, is proportional to with your angular velocity. Okay, suppose we are considering that 3 and 3 is your corresponding omega 0 and omega 0 initially, omega 0 and omega 0 for electron 1 and electron 2, right? So when applied magnetic field, when we are going to be apply the magnetic field, suppose for first electron it is decreased to 1. What I told that, suppose it has been decreased, omega 1 is decreased as compared with omega 0. Suppose from 3 it is the new angular velocity will be 1. For electron 2 it is 5. Okay, and here as both the electrons are same in mass and in the same magnetic field strength, so how much the so called angular velocity will be decreased for one electron, that much amount, that much magnitude of angular velocity will be increased for electron 2. So here 2 amount of angular velocity decreased for electron 1 and 2 amount of angular velocity increased for electron 2. This is electron 1 and electron 2. So initially it was 3 for 1 electron, and it is new angular velocity becomes 1 by decreasing. With increasing of 2, new angular velocity was 5. Okay, now you just subtract 5 minus 1, how much you got? 4. That means the difference between first electron to second electron, that is the change, actual relative change in the dipole moment of 2 electrons. That means whenever we are going to consider the change of magnetic dipole or the so called angular velocity between the two, we got the 4, right? The same 4 also we are going to get from here. See, so what will the change of individual? For first electron the change is how much? 3 minus 1 is 2, right? And here the change is how much? 3 minus 5 is minus 2. So what is the net change with respect to first one and second one? It is 2 minus of minus 2 is also 4. Okay, so in this way we can found also the change of angular momentum, angular velocity of electron 1 with respect to 2, or magnetic moment of 1 with respect to 2, directly or indirectly also same. Okay, similar concept we are going to be use here to find out the individual changes in the dipole moment of each electron. So del mu m, we can write this is the individual changes of dipole moment of, suppose this is the first electron and this is for the second electron. As we consider this one, this is the change of first electron, changes of second electron. Okay, so you can consider del mu m dash for the first electron minus of, this will be minus del mu m dash. Okay, this will be the same we can get. This is the same, this is the del mu m. Okay, so see here I directly subtracted, here indirectly subtracted the each of the difference, that is 2 and 2, also we got the same answer 4. So del mu m dash minus del mu m dash will be equal to del mu m. Okay, so del mu, this is the small change of mu m, del mu m will be equal to del mu m dash plus del mu m dash. This is minus plus, so we can get here you can see del mu m dash will be del mu by 2, and already we got del mu m, that is this one. We have to just substitute over here. We can found minus b e square r square by 4m, that is we substituted from equation number 10, and we got the del mu m dash will be equal to minus mu 0 e square r square by 4m into h, because b is nothing but mu 0 into h. Let this is equation number 1. Now this equation number 1 needs the modification, because the magnetic field applied to an atom, see this equation number 11 is need to modification. Why it is need to modification I am going to be explain, you just watch it. This is inside the bracket. When the magnetic field is applied, something is going to be changed. What is going to be changed, that I am going to be explained to you, and you can you have to just watch carefully. So what is happening? The electron revolves around the spherical surface rather than the circular one. Here we consider r is the radius in the two-dimensional case, or two-dimensional means this is considered as the radius. But actually, if we are going to consider an atom, nucleus will be the center, this will be the spherical symmetrical. Okay, rather than the 2D form, this is the spherical surface rather than the circular one. That means we are considering previously this is nucleus and electron is revolving around this. This is the 2D case, 2D format, but actually it is not there. Actually the electron is revolving in the 3D form around the nucleus. So around spherical surface rather than revolves around spherical surface rather than the circular one. That is, the dimagnetic atom has the spherical symmetry. Spherical symmetry, that means if it will be a sphere, then the surface along x-axis, along y-axis and along z-axis will be equal. So instead of 2D, we have to consider this is 3D form and it is spherical symmetry. Okay, now because you just consider the nucleus will be here and this will be the surface around which the electron is revolving. So obviously it is spherical symmetry, and if it is spherical symmetry, then along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis the value will be same. Okay, now if electronic orbits are not perpendicular to the applied magnetic field, then r is replaced by r1, and the projection of the radius r of the orbit on the plane perpendicular to the magnetic field. This r1 is nothing but the projection of the radius of the orbit on the plane perpendicular to the magnetic field. What is the thing? So I am going to explain. See, previously we derived the equations by considering that this is the magnetic field and this is the orbit, where the magnetic field perpendicular with this orbit, plane of the orbit, right? And we derived the mathematical equations where we consider this from the center of the nucleus to the electron, this distance is r, right? But if we are going to be consider this situation means you just consider this one, this is the orbit, okay, on which electron is revolving, and this is the magnetic field. Okay, but we want to transform this situation that the orbit should have to be perpendicular to the magnetic field. So if this orbit is going to be transformed to in this way, then this orbit will be called as perpendicular to the magnetic field. So if we have to transform this orbit from this position to this position, then I have to move the angle theta. Okay. So if this is the original length of the original orbit applying magnetic field, the transformed orbit having the radius will be how much? This one will be how much? This one. This is the r. If this is theta, then this radius will be called as r cos theta. Okay, so these things has been written over here, that if electronic orbit are not perpendicular, if this electronic orbit not perpendicular to the applied magnetic field, then r is replaced by r1. So what is the r1? r1 is nothing but the projection of the radius of the orbit on the plane perpendicular magnetic field. This is the projection. This is the projection which is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So r is going to be replaced by r1. Okay. Now the equation number 11 will be how much? See, the equation number 11 will be this much, but this r is going to replace by r1. So 11 will be transformed to this one, mu 0 e square r1 square by 4m into h, Let it is equation number 12. If we consider the induced magnetic moment of whole atom instead of an electron, then suppose we are going to consider whole atom, then what we are going to do? We have to sum all the electrons present in the atom. So total magnetic moment of whole atom is the summation of individual magnetic moment present in that atom, or individual magnetic moment of all electrons present in that atom, that is summation over del mu m dash. Only del mu m dash is nothing but is for only for one electron. Sum means all the electrons present in the atom, that means mu is nothing but represent the magnetic moment of whole atom, will be equal to how much? Mu 0 E square H by 4m summation over R1 square. Okay, so let it is equation number 13. If x, y, z are the coordinates of radius r of the orbit, then r square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, actually suppose we consider that nucleus will be here, and this is the spherical symmetrical path, or your spherical symmetrical circular symmetrical situation on which electron is revolving, right? So it is one type of a sphere. So if this radius is r and its coordinates will be x, y, z, then the equation of the sphere can be written as r square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square, right? For spherical symmetry, we know that x will be equal to y will be equal to z. So r square will be how much? 3x square. So as x equal to y equal to z, also we can write equal to 3y square equal to 3z square, right? So x square will be equal to how much? R square by 3. Also x square, as x, y, z all are equal, then also we can write x square equal to y square equal to z square is equal to r square by 3. Let it is equation number 14. Further, if z axis is chosen to be the plane perpendicular to applied magnetic field, now we are going to consider, suppose z axis, this is our spherical symmetrical situation, this is your applied magnetic field. So initially whatever may be the orbital situation, whenever we have to apply the magnetic field, if the magnetic field will be along z axis, then the orbit will be lie on xy plane, x axis and y axis plane. Means if without applied magnetic field, the electron revolving around the nucleus on the spherical surface, okay, anywhere on the spherical surface, but whenever we have to apply the magnetic field, that orbit, electron's orbit, constrained to move, bounded to move in xy plane only, So now r1 square will be how much? R1 square will be x square plus y square, because the so called the spherical picture is transformed to two dimensional, because the z axis has been constrained and electron is moving only along x and y plane. So I suggest to all of you that you just draw a small figure over here. No need to give the figure number, you just draw this small figure. This along z axis we have been applied the magnetic field, and in xy plane, we have the so called revolution of the electron, bounded to revolve the electron on xy plane, and we found r1 square, the expression will be r1 square will be x square plus y square. Okay, now we know that x square is equal to r square by 3, x square is nothing but r square by 3, y square is nothing but r square by 3. So r1 square will be how much? R1 square will be 2 r square by 3. Let it is equation number 15. So in this way we got r1 square equal to r square by 3 plus r square by 3 or is equal to 2 r square by 3, because x square is equal to r square by 3 and also y square by equal to r square by 3. So hence we found, and if we are going to be consider r1 square equal to x square plus y square, so we are going to get r square by 3 plus r square by 3 is equal to 2 r square by 3. That is your equation number 15. Okay. Now from equation number 13, what we are going to get? From equation number 13, that is your this one, we are going to be substitute here r1 square value what we got in the equation number 15. So mu equal to summation over del mu m dash equal to minus mu 0 e square h by 4m into r1 square is substituted by 2 r square by 3. R1 square is going to be substituted by 2 r1 square by 3 or 2 by 3 summation over r square. Okay. That implies mu equal to minus mu 0 e square h by 6m, because here 2 4 got cancelled, so it will be 2 into 3 will be equal to 6m summation over r square. Let it is equation number 16. Now these things carefully you are going to be watch what I am going to explain now. If there are n number of atoms, so this is expression is nothing but magnetic moment of a single atom, what we have been written over here. That is, if we consider whole atom, so for the single atom mu we found this one at last 16. So now if we are going to consider n number of atom per unit volume, carefully you have to listen this one, n number of atom per unit volume, and Z is the atomic number of the atom. That means how many number of electrons you can get? Z into n. Okay, Z into n. So what will be the value? The total, it will be n z mu. See, I am going to explain again. The equation number 13 is given to us the induced magnetic moment of whole atom having only one electron, right? For one electron for whole atom, if we are going to consider whole atom, then the mu is nothing but this one. Okay, and this is rectified by considering the magnetic field applied along z axis, and we found at last this one. So this is nothing but magnetic moment or total magnetic moment of an atom, of a single atom having single electron. Okay, now if we are going to consider n number of atom per unit volume, and Z is the atomic number. Z is the atomic number means, suppose Z is 13. So 13 number of electron will be present. So 13 into number of atom. So 13 into n. 13 n number of electron you can get in per unit volume. So for each electron which is present inside the atom having the dipole moment is this one. So 13n electron, if we are going to consider, the 13n into this one will be the net magnetic moment or the so called intensity of magnetization. Why it is called the intensity of magnetization? Because we are considering number of atoms per unit volume. Because as per the definition of I, intensity of magnetization, magnetic dipole moment per unit volume. So here we are considering n number of atom per unit volume. That means it is written indirectly the intensity of magnetization. That means the number of magnetic dipole moments per unit volume. So what will be the number of dipole moments? N number of atoms. So n number of atoms, if we are going to consider, and each atom having the Z number of electrons, because Z is the atomic number, Z number of electrons, each electron have the magnetic dipole moment is this one, then total number of magnetic dipole moment will be Z into N into this one. Okay, but this total magnetic dipole moment we can get per unit volume. So magnetic dipole moment or net magnetic dipole moment per unit volume will be nothing but called as the I, and this is also written as the so called I. Okay, then intensity of magnetization will be nothing but Nz mu, because N is the total number of atoms per unit volume, and if Z is the atomic number, then total number of electron will be N into Z, and mu is the magnetic moment per each electron. So total number of magnetic dipole moment we can get Nz mu, which is nothing but called as intensity of magnetization, because this much magnetic dipole moments we can found per unit volume. So now we are going to be substitute the values. I equal to here N, Z, mu value here minus mu 0 E square H by 6m summation over R square you just put over here. This will be minus Nz mu will be mu 0 mu E square H by 6m summation over R square. Okay, summation over R square, let it is equation number 17. Okay, hence the dimagnetic susceptibility, we know that the susceptibility of a magnetic material is nothing but intensity of magnetization divided by applied field. So I by H, J M, susceptibility of a magnetic material is nothing but I by H. So I is this much divided by H, means H got cancelled. We can found J M will be equal to minus Nz mu 0 E square by 6m summation over R square. Let it is equation number 18. From equation number 18, two things we can identify. First thing is that Jm is independent of temperature. There is no temperature in the right hand side. So Jm is the independent of the temperature, and Jm is the negative. So here negative sign means what? Negative sign means the inducing magnetic dipole moments is opposing the applied magnetic field. So here this thing it has been written from equation number 18. It is clear that the magnetic susceptibility is independent of temperature and negative. This negative sign is signature of the repelling or opposing character to the applied magnetic field. That means if we are going to be consider this is your dimagnetic substance and we are going to be apply the magnetic field, then the inducing magnetic field inside this magnet will be this side, means it is trying to oppose the applied magnetic field. Only for that Jm is negative. And these things also you have to remember that always dimagnetic substance is recognized on the base of the susceptibility, that is negative. But for the paramagnetic it will be positive, and ferromagnetic it will be positive, because if we are going to consider either paramagnetic or ferromagnetic material inside the magnetic field, along the magnetic field the inducing magnetic moment, whatever it will be induced inside the magnetic specimen, it will be along the magnetic field. Okay, so this is all about the explanations of the Langevin theory of dimagnetism. This is the part 2, and I suggest to all of you that go for the part 1 and part 2 carefully. Watch the videos, pause the video, write down the note perfectly. If you got any doubt, we are going to discuss. So in the next class we are going to discuss about the Langevin theory of paramagnetism. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.